Hey, Eric Sider here, and in this video I'm going to be catching up on some nursery work. Got some new stock in, got some aquatic seeds, some citrus rootstock, lots of little interesting things. So, all right, let's get into it. All right, first up on the docket is I got 3 different aquatic plants, all from seed. Got these all from Twisted Tree Farm in New York State. That's Akiva Silver, who also has the book Trees of Power, still on my reading list. All right, so we got American Lotus, very cold hardy variety of the water lotus, big tuber, and obviously pretty flowers. We got Wapato, or also known as arrowhead, another little aquatic tuber, and pickerel weed, which is one of my favorites. Had it back in Texas. Wish I brought some with me to California, but long flowering, so good for pollinators, and young leaves and stems are edible on that one. So I got these little food trays filled with compost. Just kind of had a old mix sitting here that needed to be used, and so these have been packed in wet sand to keep them moist, aid in germination, and these are dry. These actually can last for supposedly 1,000 years and still be viable. So we're going to need to file down the seed coat or hard exterior to get those to go. Also have trifoliate orange, also known as flying dragon. It's kind of like the default rootstock for citrus trees. So I got this tray, the root trapper trays, which I've talked about before. So I already got 20 of germinated some calamansi, a real popular little Filipino citrus. Trying out, obviously growing fruit trees from seed is a long-term proposition. And then I got another 60 cells for citrus seeds, and I'm also going to do some just in paper towel, which is anytime I germinate something for the first time, I will try some just in some moist paper towels, because it's just, you can check on it and make sure everything's going right. And then I also have some seaberry or sea buckthorn, very hardy nitrogen fixing shrub, high in vitamin A, C, E, and K, and also one of the few plants that has all 4 of the omega fatty acids. Very cold hardy, so it's actually pushing it on the heat range, being in Sacramento. So I might have to get these out of the sun come summertime. And these are all coming from Burnt Ridge Nursery up in Washington State. And then I also have 3 Serviceberry, which is it's kind of like a blueberry, taller shrub, but just less fussy, so I always like that one. And then I also have one little Willamette raspberry, just because I don't have any raspberry, and shrubs are super easy to propagate. I got a surviving chayote. I'm just going to pot up to overwinter, see how that goes. Let's start with the pickerel reeds. So they're trapped in sand, so I don't even know what's sand and what's seed. So I'm going to just dump this in this little tray and add some water, and we'll see what's what. All right, so there's quite a bit. I think I got around 30 or so. So just gonna place these in the tray, cover it up with some more soil, and hopefully see some activity soon. Just add enough water to keep everything wet. All right, there we go. One down. Next is the Wapato. Oh, these are much smaller little seeds. Again, one of my favorite things about aquatic plants is they are very easy to transplant, so, and also very easy to propagate. So good plant to get in the business of, and particularly what I'm thinking is they're going to be a very useful food and fodder plant, particularly for small spaces. I remember when I was in Vietnam years ago, every single little house or farm or anything always had a pond, and aquaculture is a big part of their staple food system, so something we definitely need to bring back. All right. Hopefully, well, some of these are floating, so I'd have to revisit that a bit. Okay, now for the American lotus, see if we can some white. All right, I am going to expedite this process with some power tools. Went ahead and used the benchtop grinder, which was much faster. Still quite a perilous little activity trying to hold on to these seeds and not burn your finger off, but can do it with a hand file, but man, it takes quite a long time. Maybe a palm sander might be a happy medium. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick these in the soil. All right, there we go. Got all our aquatic seeds planted. Good to go there. Let's see, let's get these other guys who are in need of some planting up. So we'll do our, now these Serviceberry bare roots are a little big for these fabric pots I have, but I don't have their permanent home yet. So we're gonna go with these guys. Now these are, I still have a bunch of these from back in Texas when I was starting a plant nursery down there. This is a company called Root Pouch. Three Serviceberries. see how these sea berries go. So these were on special, so I got 6 of them because they're unsexed, which means they may be female, they may be male, and you do need a male to pollinate the females, but you only need 1 male for about 6 to 8 females. So hopefully with 6 I will get a few of each. One advantage of fabric pots is usually whatever you're growing in them can stay in them longer than they would in a solid pot because of the air pruning of the roots, so they're not circling and getting root bound, which is handy because obviously the bigger the pot, the more potting mix or soil you need, and if you're not making your own soil, that can get expensive. And I am getting low, so I'm gonna use some of this extra out of here. But fortunately, I have the chicken compost factory outside, so got a constant supply of magical fertility. So these little small mixing tubs are pretty handy for this type of work. Just Lowe's, Home Depot, or any hardware store. They're intended for mixing up concrete or mortar, but they work well for doing pot ups as well. All right, so 3 Serviceberry, 6 sea berries. We got our 3 aquatic plants. Let's see, let's get this kind of sad looking raspberry potted up. Last but not least, our kind of just hanging in there chayote, so kind of see how that goes overwintering inside. All right, nothing too special going on here, just popping the seeds in. $40 to $60 total, so 40 there and probably another 50 or so in here. We're gonna just give the paper towel treatment. All right, there we go. Just catching up on some nursery work and some exciting new additions to the aquaculture. Growing out some rootstock for some future propagation, some nature's medicine cabinet, and some other other fun things to try. Hopefully all this is a success and I can propagate on for make it available for future purchases. The Bomb Permaculture shirts are in the store. This one is one of my favorites, one of the newer ones. You know, everybody likes to get ahead of themselves, and of course, regeneration, that's the goal, but we're way down here. We got a lot of ways to go, and there's a lot of high-tech, fancy ways of growing food that people get excited about, and maybe they're useful for the journey, but there's very few of them are gonna ultimately be at the top where we need to be. If you're not increasing soil quantity and quality, then there's no way you can be sustainable and certainly not regenerative. Got some sweatshirts in, so select designs for the chilly weather. Check those out. And if you're in need of permaculture design and consultation, let's get those properties up and running. Food abundance, food security. All those will be linked down below. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.